What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about a guide in relation to the Water Festival event. Now, you may have thought I forgot about it, but I did want to wait until the last minute to try to gather as much information as I possibly could. But today we're going to be breaking this video down into two different sections. The first section is going to be about the event itself, and then of course developing a guide. And then the second part is going to be 5 different water type Pokemon that I do think you should focus on trying to catch as many as you possibly can throughout the event. So therefore talking about like the top 5 that will be spawning throughout the event and what you want to focus on. Anyways, I hope you do enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. The first thing that I want to start out with is a graphic created by Couple of Gaming with the GoHub team. We'll be taking a look at it, walking through all of the features, and then we will get into the Pokemon like I mentioned before. So the first thing that you need to know is the timing of the event. It will be from August 23rd to August 30th, so we do get 7 days out of this event. Something interesting going on will be related to the spawns because we haven't necessarily seen something exactly like this before. We've got more water type Pokemon just spawning in the wild in general. That's a fairly typical thing. I think that the one that I'm personally focusing on the most is going to be Magikarp, just because I would love to have another shiny Magikarp. Maybe you are a shiny hunter. I would say that this would be the one that most people are probably gonna want to go for. But beyond that, 3 years ago, we had the first Water Festival where the first shiny Pokemon ever got introduced into Pokemon Go, and that was the shiny Magikarp. So I do expect a lot of Magikarp to be spawning, and good luck on getting yourself a shiny variation of that. The interesting part, however, is related to this, where more water type Pokemon will spawn specifically around water in the game. So yes, if you go into your map and you see just the blue body of water, yeah, I know it seems obvious, but that is what this is talking about specifically. So maybe something like a beach, a pond, a lake, a river, you know, something like that. Be on the lookout. For some reason, they are actually able to do this. They have some type of information. So those areas are specifically going to spawn more. But the reason why I'm personally so interested in something like that is just for the number of spawns. Keep that in mind. If there's going to be an increase related to a specific area, you're definitely going to want to go to something like that so you can catch as many Pokemon as possible. And there's definitely a couple in this list that I do want to focus on that'll hold off for the end. We've got more water type Pokemon spawning from eggs. We don't know exactly which one is going to be spawning, but at least at the end, I'll talk about ones that you might want to end up looking for. I think anything with a shiny variation is a good potential. Now, this is going to be an interesting one to talk about. We are talking about the new move Crabhammer being added into the game. We don't necessarily know exactly how good the move is at this point in time, but once the event happens, we'll get the stats out for it, and if it ends up being significant, I will absolutely do a deep dive on Kingler dependent on how good that move is going to be, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But I think that that is going to kind of warrant maybe looking for a ton of Krabby, going ahead and evolving it up to a Kingler, just so you can get that Crabhammer if it ends up being worth it. We're going to see more water type Pokemon in raids. I'm not personally as excited about that. Maybe Lapras would be cool as long as we can get that shiny variation. You know, I think a lot of people will definitely enjoy that. But for something like a Blastoise, Vaporeon, not really. Maybe if you want to have some fun doing solo with Vaporeon at level 3, by all means, go for it. This is going to be interesting. We've got a 1-hour event that is going to be occurring where Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf will be back, and that's going to be on Wednesday, August 28th. So look at it like the legendary raid hour is the best way to look at it. We're going to get the exact same ones that we got previously, though, so they're not going to rotate or anything like that, which is definitely interesting. When we get down to the bonuses, we've got a 2x hatch candy, so definitely get out there and hatch as many as you possibly can. Maybe you'll end up getting some water type spawns out of all of this. I'm personally not as excited about that, but that is a benefit. But something kind of interesting is going to be the half buddy system as far as the walking is concerned. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in maybe walking something like a Magikarp, walking a Gyarados, because if you haven't gotten yourself one, maybe you're stuck on a quest, something like that, Because it is 400 candies, I do think that that would be a solid option. You're talking about getting a candy every 0.5 kilometers, which is insane. So I do think it would make a lot of sense to focus on Magikarp, especially if you are on the lookout for either a shiny Magikarp and need to evolve it to a Gyarados, or you don't have a Gyarados. The last thing that we have is a set of new shiny Pokemon. I'm personally excited about Whiscash just because it is a useful Pokemon from the PvP perspective. Although at the same time, Sharpedo looks really cool. So if you are interested in those options, definitely keep that in mind. Well, let's go ahead and shift over into the Pokemon that I think you should focus on during this event. The first Pokemon that I wanted to focus on is, of course, Kingler. I said before, I think that Crabhammer is going to be something that could propel it to a higher position as a water type attacker, depending on the moveset, of course. But the reason why I think that Kingler possesses so much potential and something that I'm personally going to focus on is related to this attack stat. That is fairly good when you're talking about comparing it to other water type Pokemon. And for myself, I've always wanted to be able to use it, and Crabhammer could end up being the thing that makes it a viable option. So I did want to go ahead and point that out. Yes, it is going to be a little bit of a glass cannon, but I still think it could be a lot of fun and something that I'm, like I said, going to personally look out for. The next Pokemon is, of course, going to be that shiny Magikarp, evolving it into a shiny Gyarados. I'm so excited about that. For one, it's just a really cool looking Pokemon, and then secondarily, it is the top 3 water type attacker. So for me personally, you've got a Pokemon that looks great, it's going to be available in the wild, and then thirdly, it's a very good performer. So Gyarados definitely going to be on the lookout for that. Up next, we have Empoleon. So I put a shiny variation up here, but in actuality, the shiny variant is not made available yet. But the reason why I put Empoleon up here is because Piplup was mentioned to get an increase in spawns, and you are going to want to have this Pokemon specifically for the fact that it will get a Community Day moveset. It will be a Community Day Pokemon simply because it is a starter Pokemon, the set of few Pokemon we can 100% predict. I think it would be smart to go ahead and start building up your candy catch as much as you possibly can. Maybe pine up some Piplups if you catch them in the wild. They are probably going to be a little bit on the rare side, but something that I would regardless go ahead and focus on throughout the event. The fourth one that I want to focus on is actually going to be a PvP related Pokemon, and that is Whiscash. Whiscash is a very good Pokemon from the PvP perspective. I think that one thing that's kind of helping it out personally is the fact that its typing only has one weakness to the grass typing, and then another major benefit, as you can sort of see at the bottom of the screen, is related to the fact that if you want to go ahead and unlock a new attack for this Pokemon, it is only going to cost 10,000 Stardust to be able to do that. So it is definitely a good budget Great League Pokemon, so be on the lookout for that Barboach. And plus, we've got it where we have the shiny variant being made available, so that is an added benefit to it. You're going to get some style along the way. The last and final Pokemon that I want to put up, I know this picture looks funny, is just Quagsire. I think Quagsire, Wooper are two Pokemon that you want to be on the lookout for, because once again, from the PvP perspective, this Pokemon is a monster. It shares a lot of similarities with Whiscash, where it has the same typing, only weak to the grass typing, and it has a very good moveset as well. I think a lot of players who play PvP are going to focus on this one a ton, so I would highly recommend it, passing it on to you if you are interested in PvP. I thought it would be a lot of fun to end this video off by taking a look at my shiny collection specifically related to the water Pokemon, so I can personally see exactly what I have as well as what I will need to focus on throughout the event. So the first kind of memorable one that I wanted to talk about was Golduck. I ended up getting this from Chicago Go Fest. It was the first shiny Psyduck that I ever encountered, so it's something that I'm personally going to remember moving forward. We've got Cloyster. I believe that this actually ended up coming from the event where we were able to get Gorbis and then Huntail. Whatever that event was, it was like a weekend and they just spawned a ton of water type Pokemon. That was amazing. Absolutely love a shiny Shelder, so I'm hoping I can get another one and then keep it there. This one, oh man, a shiny lucky Gyarados. Ended up trading this with the trainer club at GoFest. We both were going crazy once this ended up happening. I also traded him a shiny Magikarp, so we just did a mirror trade and both got lucky, obviously. That was amazing. Got a couple just Community Day exclusive ones, some event ones. This one was really cool. Ended up getting that shiny Politoed, also known as the Cotton Candy. This is what I believe to be a fan favorite. I think a lot of people really wanted this one, so I was very excited to get that one. as far as some other memorable ones are concerned, I would say Pelipper was one that kind of stuck out to me as far as getting a shiny Wingull. I actually ended up getting this randomly at work, out of all places, just walking through the parking lot going in for the day. So that was a cool experience. Whenever you get those shinies that just kind of come out of nowhere, they're definitely going to be a memorable one. And then the last one that we have that's kind of worth pointing out is just having that shiny Wailord. So cool. Absolutely love putting this one in gyms. I don't necessarily have a cool story related to it, but it is a Pokemon that I personally do enjoy. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know what Pokemon you are looking forward to the most in the comments section below related to this event. Is it a shiny Pokemon? Is it a PvP? Is it a meta relevant one? Let me know anything and everything in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. I wanted to take a brief moment to say thank you so much to the supporters over at Patreon. We have some really cool perks going on at the site if you haven't checked it out before. We're talking friendship as well as some exclusive content such as behind the scenes that only the patrons get to see. If that is something that interests you, I would highly recommend you to go ahead and check it out.